I wanted a grounded life. I wanted a family. I didn't want to be chased around by paparazzi all the time, which I was as a kid. And I wanted to be able to have some level of anonymity so I could go out and, again, I'm a writer. I want to be able to observe things and not be locked in my house. And I pretty much was locked in my house for most of the 80s. I couldn't go anywhere.
Hi there, and welcome into a brand new week on Celebrity Salute, dedicated to the men and women who serve our country in active duty, our veterans and their families. We're here for you. God bless you. We love you. On each episode, we look for people and stories with some connection to these heroes. I am Randy Miller. Shaun Cassidy is a singer, songwriter, actor, television producer, and screenwriter. He has created and or produced a number of television series, including American Gothic, Roar, and Invasion. He was an executive producer and writer for NBC's medical drama New Amsterdam, and he was a teen heartthrob back in the 70s and 80s. Remember Dadu Ron Ron? Well, after 4 decades, he's back on tour. He's 67, and he's touring. We are so happy to have Shaun Cassidy join us here on Celebrity Salute. Shaun, how are you?
I'm great, Randy. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. I can't even imagine at 67 years old. I'm 66, and I can't imagine how many tour stops?
This is the biggest tour I've ever done in my life. It's over 60 cities in 6 months, and yeah, it's an adventure. It's not quite just like riding a bicycle, but it's really fun and it's weird. I mean, you mentioned 1980. My last concert tour ended in 1980 at the Houston Astrodome in front of 55,000 people.
Wow. And
I said goodnight, not knowing it would be my last concert for 40 years, but I was really fortunate that I segued into a career as a writer, producer in television, which I continue to do. And my last show was a show called New Amsterdam. It was a medical show that was on for 5 years
absolutely.
On NBC. But I missed the connection with people, honestly, and especially on the heels of the pandemic where everybody got sort of locked down, and I wanted to get people out of the house, starting with me, and being able to go out and sing songs that people haven't heard for a while, but people remember, and more importantly, tell stories that weave the songs together, stories of my life, stories about the audience, stories about my family. Felt authentic to my job because I'm a storyteller. That is my main job. So there's certainly nostalgia involved, but there also is stuff that feels contemporary as well. And I'm just grateful, honestly, because it's like a full circle experience.
I'll bet, man. Let's get back to your producing and writing for just a second, because American Gothic, I know you wrote the television pilot for American Gothic and directed it. And we just had the one of the stars of American Gothic, Gary Cole, on the program.
Oh, the greatest guy.
Oh,
Gary.
Man, fantastic.
That was my first show. I didn't direct it, by the way. I produced it with Sam Raimi. I wrote and produced it. But Gary was the star of American Gothic, and I think Sarah Paulson's first job, she was a young actor on our show then, a little boy named Lucas Black had just come off a movie called Sling Blade.
Oh, wow.
Billy Bob Thornton. So it was an amazing first experience, but you couldn't have had a better person and a better actor than Gary Cole as your leading man. He's just a great guy.
Well, I asked Gary about you when I talked to him last week, and I said, when you first heard that Shaun Cassidy was involved with American Gothic, what did you think? And he said, I didn't know. I was a little curious. And he said, but he was fantastic, and it turned out to be an incredible experience. And then, obviously you've gone on, over the decades producing and writing. So congratulations on all of that. But so I know you missed a connection to the fans, but wouldn't it be easier just to, produce and write?
Maybe. Yeah, probably. I have a pilot I just turned in NBC. I've been writing while I've been touring. I've been in the hotel room during the day writing, or in the back of an SUV on the way to the next city writing. So I'm doing both now. It's not that it's easier. It's that I think being a writer afforded me a healthier life, which was always a priority for me, because the life of a pop star or any public figure, especially when you're a young guy, it's just not the best.
Yeah.
It's fun and it's dazzling in many ways, but I wanted a grounded life. I wanted a family. I wanted I didn't want to be chased around by paparazzi all the time, which I was as a kid. And I wanted to be able to have some level of anonymity so I could go out and, again, I'm a writer. I want to be able to observe things and not be locked in my house. And I pretty much was locked in my house for most of the 80s. I couldn't go anywhere. So once I found a way to stay creative behind the scenes, it was like, this is how you get both. You get creativity and you get a good life. So I'm really blessed. And so now I can go out and yes, I'm doing interviews and I'm, doing celebrity things again, which is funny and weird because I haven't done it for so long. I've talked about my shows over the years and I've gone on, a talk show or a news show or whatever to promote a show, but I haven't gone out to promote me. And it's funny. It's weird. And my kids think it's insane because I have 7 kids.
Yeah.
Well, none of them were around at the Astrodome. They all came afterwards. So they watched the guy go to an office, every day. And suddenly here he is getting up on a stage and playing guitar and singing songs. Like, what? Like, Dad's a rock star? When did that happen? How did that happen?
And Dad's still got his voice, too, man. I mean, the new music, I just heard the last song in My First Crush, which is also the best name of any wine I've ever heard. My First Crush. Thanks. That is so good. But, yeah, that's got to be strange for you and your entire family. And, you think about the soundtrack of our lives, and our audience is mainly active duty military veterans and their families. And so, just leading up to every single conflict we've had, to do Run Run, are you afraid of magic? I mean, or do you believe in magic? Are you afraid of me? Hey, Deanie. I mean, all of these are just running, thank you for producing some music and some tunes that can take the stress off our active duty military.
Well, I know that a big part of your audience are active duty military, and I want to give them a shout out and I thank you for their service and share a little experience I just had. Was one of the most moving experiences of my life. My brother-in-law, Howard Turner, just retired from the Air Force. He was an F-16 pilot. And
wow.
My wife and I went to his ceremony where he flew jets right over our head with a squadron of 9 other pilots and planes. And then I got to sing the national anthem at his retirement ceremony.
Oh, man.
In front of his entire squadron, Texas. And it was one of the most moving experiences of my life. So let everybody out there know how grateful we are to them.
Absolutely.
Because military is a big part of our family, too. And his dad, my wife's father, was a retired colonel who flew the F-104 in the 60s.
Wow. Oh, man. Well, thank you for their service, obviously. And, we remind people every day on this show that how lucky we are to have them on our side. He's on tour. He's back on tour, and he's coming to your city. And I did want to ask you, though, a big friend of the show is Donny Osmond. We've had him on numerous times. And it was funny. You did not go through the same thing as a Donny Osmond. Donny, when he released Soldier of Love, he turned into a different person. All of a sudden, you couldn't call him Donny. You had to call him Don. And he was very, very serious. Honestly, very serious about his music. And his sister Marie will agree with that and laugh about it now. And he's obviously come to accept what people know him for. But, yeah, you didn't really go through that phase, huh?
I didn't, because I was able, that's all about reinvention. And look, I understand every artist, no matter who they are, doesn't want to be put in a box. You want to be able to do lots and lots of different things. And I've only met Donny once. He's a very nice guy. He's had a very different career than I've had. He's had a very successful career as an entertainer in Vegas, obviously. But I'm sure at some point he was like, hey, I'm not a little kid anymore. I want to be, an adult, an adult artist, whatever. And so call me Don.
Yeah.
Well, the name is whatever. But I was able to do it in a different way. I just stopped performing and I just started doing something else. But the something else became my main career. But the public doesn't know that. The majority of the public still, if I show up to do a concert, they're like, where have you been?
Yeah. Right. Right.
And I've been in an office at Universal, or I've been in an office at Warner Brothers. I was in Walt Disney's original office for 4 years at Disney.
Oh, wow.
Which was like one of the highlights of my career. And I confess I spent most of those 4 years giving tours of Walt Disney's office. But it was, I'm just a really fortunate guy to have had this career. And now that I can go back and sing these songs and tell stories, which is my main job.
That's cool.
And people are coming. I mean, who knows?
Oh.
You know, you take 40 years off, you don't know
Right.
if anybody's going to come.
Yeah. Well, and if you want to go, you go to ShaunCassidy.com. You can find out all about the tour dates, and it's all fun and games until Phil Spector pulls a gun on you, right?
Yeah, I'd tell that story too.
Shaun, great talking to you, man. It's so it's so great to see where you've come from and where you are now, and just continued great success.
Thanks. Thank you for all you do.
You've been listening to Celebrity Salute. Celebrity Salute is produced by Brainstorm Media and distributed by National Defense Network, with host Randy Miller and executive produced by Nate Herron. Be sure to visit us at nationaldefensenetwork.com. This podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also say, Alexa, play the National Defense Network podcast.